I'm gonna give it 100 days. In 100 days, if I can figure it out, I'm going back to my real estate company I'm building. So every 100 days, I used to have 1 to 2 boot camps. And then the conversations began. Okay, what do I want? I could go back to real estate, I make money, or I could double down in my business and live with purpose. I said, okay, God, another 100 days. Another 100 days. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. And I figured out 100 days at a time. So the first year, it was more the discovery stage.
Welcome to the King's Code Podcast.
Welcome to the King's Code Podcast. My name is Raul Villacis, and I'm here 2 Edge certified coaches. To my right, I have Robert Aguilar. Robert, welcome to the podcast, brother. And
thank you, brother.
We have Christian Abad, the badass coach. So, gentlemen, welcome to the King's Code Podcast. I think this is the first time that we've done a podcast together, right? The 3 of us.
Yeah.
I've done a podcast with you. I've done a podcast with you, but this is the first time the 3 of us are
I agree.
are together. So, and the topic that I have for this podcast is really, what is the mindset of success? Because you coach your men every single day, men look for what is the code to the edge. They're looking for that extra edge. What's the main struggle right now, Christian, that you're seeing with men that they don't have the right mindset? What's the struggle?
Well, there are so many things that we do here in the brotherhood, right? One of them is pattern recognition. I believe that men doesn't have the certainty that they need to be able to build businesses, to have great families, and it's because they don't have enough clarity. Every time that we talk about this topic, Raul, I go back to the first conversation, the first question that you asked me, which was, what do you want? At that moment, my answer was, I want to transform my life, but that was because I was tired of the life that I had. And kind of laughing, you said, Christian, trying to transform your life in 100 days sounds kind of complicated. What if the only thing that we do is this? Let's see all the patterns that we had to interrupt. Let's recognize the patterns. Let's name the patterns. And then let's see the progress that you create in 100 days. And I believe that most of the times we don't seek for help. We don't get to accept that we need help. And that's keeping us stuck in life.
Because we want the home run.
Yeah.
I want you to change my life now, Christian. I want to go from 0 to 100, right? Mm-hmm. The genius aspect of what we do is 100 days at a time. Do you know the story why it was 100 days? Did I ever share with you the story 100 days? Because when I started the program, the Edge program, actually before it was the Next Level Experience, I was doing seminars. Mm-hmm. When I decided to do coaching, and I've never wanted to be a coach. I always fought with that stigma of being a coach, and we're gonna talk a little about that. But I said, God, I'm gonna try to do this for 100 days, okay? And we have the agreement. If I can't make this happen 100 days, I'm gonna go back to real estate because I'm making money in real estate. I don't need to be coaching this man. I don't need to be doing this boot camp. So I'm gonna give it 100 days. In 100 days, if I can figure it out, I'm going back to my real estate company I'm building. So every 100 days, I used to have 1 to 2 boot camps. And then the conversations began. Okay, what do I want? I could go back to real estate, I make money, or I could double down in my business and live with purpose. So I said, okay, God, another 100 days. Another 100 days. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. And I figured out 100 days at a time. So the first year, it was more the discovery stage. So that's what I said. If that works for me, then I'm teaching, let's live life 100 days at a time. So how is that has worked for you, Robert? Like living 100 days at a time?
You know, that's been key because I think you've talked about this before in different trainings. When we look at the future, when we look at what is possible in 10 years, I think you typically have said, when you look at what's possible in 10 years, you overestimate, right? And when you look at what's possible in 1 year, you underestimate. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens with the 100 days, with the 100-day challenge. You know, you really chunk it down into bite-sized pieces that you can actually put a plan together and execute. And that's been a game changer in all aspects, right? Whether you're trying to grow a business or whether you're facing a tremendous challenge, right? A life-altering challenge that you don't know what to do with.
And that's the key. Like everybody's different, right? So don't try to solve all your problems from one to the next. Chunk it down in manageable pieces. So you guys have a lot of coaching experience. Between both of you guys, you've helped a lot of men. But that's not what you do. Like, you have a business, you have a business background. I want people to understand that the reason that I was fighting for that coaching title so much, I was fighting against it, is because those who can't teach, right? That's what I heard all the time. If you can't do something, I teach about it. I don't want it to be one of those gurus that couldn't make it in business. That's what I'm doing, coaching. So when I decided to do this, it wasn't from a place of I was broke in another industry and I'm trying to figure out how to make money in this industry. So when I partner with the coaches like yourself, I want the same thing. Like, you still have a successful business. You still have a successful business. So talk a little bit about, like, what's your background? What have you done in the past, and what qualifies you to talk to this man about having the edge?
You know, I did several things. I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. When I was young, I did a lot of work on vehicles, and by the time I was 18 years old, I had my own auto repair shop. I was buying and flipping cars, right? You hear people talking about flipping real estate. I was buying vehicles, fixing vehicles, selling vehicles. And later on in life, I got into construction, right? Somebody came up and gave me an opportunity that seemed good. I got into construction. I blew that up from, making $2,000 to $3,000 a week, which was a lot of money for me at the time, to building a $25 million enterprise out of it. I got into fitness. I got into weight loss gyms, and then sales and marketing for different products. And I've seen all of the ups and downs. I've seen the struggles that men go through. And when I say men, I'm particularly speaking about myself and to myself. And when I'm coaching, that's where I'm coming from a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's the things that I've been through. And a lot of times it's insights that I have learned and that sometimes I need to hear again, to be honest with you.
And that's what I believe it qualifies you to talk to some of these guys, because you're not talking out of theory. You're not talking because, I read this in a book. You're not even saying, okay, Raul told me to say this. No, you're saying, here's what I've learned from what Raul teaches. Here's how I implemented that in my life, and this is how it has worked for me.
Right.
And therefore, I'm giving you the framework based on experience, not just in theory.
Absolutely.
I think that's what the world needs more out there. Men sharing their experience, men sharing their knowledge, men sharing their ups and downs. I mean, we all want to share our ups, but we want to talk about our downs.
Right.
How about you, Christian? Give us a little bit of background of what you've
Listen, I
done.
remember when I was 14 years old, I had this idea, and the idea was to somehow create this business related with the entertainment industry. And that's something that I did when I was 14 years old. I remember that at the beginning I didn't have enough money. I was asking for money to my parents, asking them to help me. But in the end, I was able to create this big business in Ecuador. Now, I decided to come here, part of the story. I decided to come here because all the political challenges that we have over there.
You got kidnapped.
Exactly.
Your life was in danger.
Exactly. So I
You
decided
had no choice.
I decided to come here to start doing the same things that most of the people who come from Ecuador do, right? I was working in different businesses, but in the end, I was always seeing myself trapped in the cage. It's like the lion is in the cage, wanting to go to hunt, but now I was not able to do it until I made the decision. And the decision was to build my business here in the United States. I still have the business, but more than having the business, what I believe qualifies me to be here is all the life experiences that I went through. It's getting to understand that I, as a coach, as a human being, as a person, have the capacity to be able to help somebody else see that's something that they are not seeing. Because when you are in the problem, it's not easy to see the solution. So now what I do is I help them see all the patterns that they are running, and somehow we work on the right strategy for them to execute. And I believe, Raul, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, I believe that so far in the 10 years that I'm working with you, 6 years as a coach, I've been doing a great job.
And let me tell you, this goes back to you were a student of the game. Like, we've known each other for 10 years. You were a client at the beginning. Same thing with you. You were a client of it. Both of you guys were part of the inner circle. So I want you to understand the concept of when you became a coach, you didn't become a coach because you answer a a post of an ad that I'm looking for coaches. You didn't become a coach because I even asked you. You said, I want to give back. I want to bring value. How can I contribute? And that's how a relationship develop. A lot of people ask me, well, how can I become a certified coach? We have to build a relationship. I'm not hiring people just out of like the Indeed website to change people's lives. That's how we do here. And what qualifies you is that you live in it. You live in it. Christian, you have your kids, you have your wife. I have seen your life become better because of the work that you've done. Not because of what I do, because of what you've done. The same thing with you. I've seen your kids, I've seen your wife, I've seen your business become better because of the work that you've done. So that's all coaching is. This is what I'm doing, and this is what's working for me. Yeah. This is how I can help you become better. I've coached men who have a much bigger business than I have. What qualifies me is I'm in the arena just like them. The numbers are maybe different, but the mindset is the same. You have to have a resilient mindset, you have to have an unstoppable mindset, you have to have a contribution mindset. Overall, you have to have that edge mindset. If you don't have that edge mindset, you're gonna fail in life.
Now, something that I remember, Raul, that you shared with me was this. And this is because even though I understand the pattern, the comparison game, right? Coaching people who are making millions, sometimes it's gonna take you to compare whatever that you are doing with them, right? But something that you share with me is what keeps helping me to get centered and to help them is this. You said, Christian, you are coaching not from who you are coaching from who you are becoming. And that's what is helping me every single day to help each of the men that I'm coaching.
And that's powerful, man. It's powerful to have that belief system that is, I'm not comparing myself to who you are, I'm comparing myself to who I'm becoming, because I'm constantly chasing that version of myself who's the highest version. What's the biggest challenge that you have faced, Robert, that you could see, okay, here's how to use these tools, and I've been able to overcome this challenge?
You know, I think that the biggest challenge that I have faced and that I see in a lot of the men that I coach is the challenge of not feeling enough, right? And that comes in all kinds of different aspects, right? But a lot of times we don't think that we are enough to teach someone, to coach someone, to guide someone, to be a role model to someone. But the reality is, if you're a high-level entrepreneur, if you have a business, if you are growing something, there are people out there that are looking up to you. And how you carry yourself and what you do, they are watching and they are learning from you. Sometimes it might be your own children, right? But sometimes it might be a young employee that's coming up in the world and trying to figure out what he wants to do. It takes a lot of inner work, which I've learned to do here, to really understand the value that you as an individual bring. And that took a lot of work. And I believe it's probably true for Christian as well. But doing that work and understanding the value, understanding that every challenge that you have faced, you can have the mentality of being a victim, or you can have the mentality of being the victor, and how you saw yourself through those situations, and now what value can you bring to others? And I think that's where the real power is. And that it's not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
You know, you always pray, every morning, God, bring me those men that I could help sharpen the edge, and also bring me men that are going to help me sharpen my edge. So I want to thank both of you guys, because both of you have helped me sharpen my edge. I am so proud, that God has brought you here in this moment. 10,000 men in Madison Square Garden. It is closer than what we think. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for being here, brother. Let's continue to sharpen men's edge. If you're listening to this podcast, just know that you're not alone. You don't have to be perfect. Make sure that you hire a coach that not just lives what he's talking about, but has the experience and the empathy to guide you through the challenges of life. Because anybody could say that they're a coach, anybody could say that they're a guru, but have they paid the price with experience is what makes the difference. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe, you follow, because the best is yet to come.